What's up, everybody? Jason Wheeler here with fastpacedbroker.com, and I'm excited that you're here. What we're doing today is we're going to go over all of the most common questions that I get asked every single day from first-time home buyers. Maybe you're afraid to get started. Maybe you don't want to talk to somebody right away. You're looking for education online. This is the best place to go ahead and get the most common questions answered, learn about mistakes to avoid, and that's what we want to do today is make sure that we can give you some confidence to go ahead and take the next steps in your journey and see if buying a home is going to be right for you. First things first, this is some disclosure that I got to get out of the way. Go ahead and screenshot this, read it if you want to. I'm with C2 Financial. We're one of the largest brokerages in California, and they're a great company that we broker all of our loans through and do our real estate through. And definitely check that out and screenshot this if you want to read all the details. Okay. Next thing is, hey, thanks so much for being here. Honestly, I can't do any of this without you. I appreciate that you're here to do some learning with me and to get your questions answered. I can't thank you enough for spending some time. There's nothing more valuable than your time, and that's why we're going to get through this in about 15 to 20 minutes. But thank you so much for being here. It says a lot about yourself that you're willing to learn something. When you do have a second after you're done watching this, connect with us up on our social media. Our handle is a Fast Paced Broker. You can find us on LinkedIn, Instagram. We got great YouTube videos, a lot of educational content on YouTube, and we're also active on Facebook. So check us out there whenever you feel like it, whenever you'd like to connect. Okay. So, who is this course for primarily? Hopefully, you're here because you want to get started buying a house. It feels impossible. You see the news, you feel like it's too expensive. Well, we're going to dispel all those myths and we're going to show you exactly how you might be able to do it. Now, buying a house is not for everybody all the time, but we're going to explore that and we're going to show you what you might be able to do. We're not here to tell you what to do, but we're here to show you what you can do. It's up to you to go ahead and take those steps if you feel like it's going to be right for you, okay? You probably don't know where to start. It could be feel overwhelming. There's a lot of agents out there. There's a lot of people online, and you probably maybe you don't feel comfortable reaching out to somebody right away. You're maybe you're afraid of the pushy salesman or something like that. And we want to go ahead and dispel that and give you as much education up front as possible so that you have confidence to go ahead and take next steps. Now, maybe you don't even know if buying is right for you. Maybe you know the benefits, you know the benefits of equity and of owning real estate. It's a pipe dream of yours, but you just don't know if it's right. Okay, so we're going to go through that. We're going to show you exactly how long it takes, what you need to go ahead and get started and find out if it's something that's even possible for you. Okay. Quick bonus at the end of this, you can download our checklist, our homebuyer checklist, mistakes to avoid. We have 88 different mistakes to avoid when you're buying a home. And the one thing that nobody else is going to offer you is we're going to show you how to get all your closing costs paid for. Now, in a lot of different cases, we can go ahead and get all of your closing costs paid for. And closing costs can be pretty expensive, sometimes up to $10,000 or more. So we're going to show you exactly how to do that when you go ahead and set up a one-to-one with us on the phone. So who's this course for? A little bit about me. I've been educating the Bay Area and helping people buy homes since 2003. My name is Jason Wheeler at fastpacedbroker.com. I'm a broker with C2 Financial, and I've been helping people since 2003 all throughout the Bay Area. Our branch office is in Pleasant Hill, and we primarily focus on helping people in the surrounding cities in Contra Costa. So Pleasant Hill, Concord, Walnut Creek, Lafayette, Clayton. If you are looking to purchase a house in this area of Contra Costa County, that is what we help you with, and that's what we would love to help you with. Okay. I live, work, and play here in the East Bay. I live right here in Pleasant Hill, and my office is right in Pleasant Hill, and we go all throughout Contra Costa County as far as our services go. Consistent 5-star rated on Yelp and Google. You can check those reviews out for yourself. Multiple award-winning producer with a top brokerage. And definitely if you're looking for reviews, you could go online and you can check those out and see what other people are saying about what it's like to work with us. And I'm sure that you'll be happy when you go ahead and see those and feel some confidence about going ahead and reaching out for a one-to-one. I love helping people achieve their real estate goals. I especially love helping first-time home buyers. I love getting them through the process, and it's such an accomplishment when you buy that first house. It feels so great when you have something of your own that you can live in and grow with, okay? I'm easy to work with. You can call my cell phone, you could text me. A lot of times I'll talk with you into the evening, and you could email me, DM, whatever is easiest for you to get started is where I'd like to meet you. So whatever it is that you want to ask me, DM, text, call anytime you want to. I'm going to be here for you. And if we do miss each other, I return calls very, very quickly. I will never quit. I will work as hard as you do. So if we find out that this is something that you can do and it is something that you want to do, we're going to bust our hump to make sure that it happens for you and make sure that everything falls into place exactly the way you want it to. What are we going to be covering today? Budget and pre-approval. What does it take to get qualified for a loan? Where do I start? And mainly also where not to start. A lot of people make mistakes at the very beginning and they get overwhelmed and then they quit. So I'm going to show you exactly the worst place to start when it comes to buying a home, okay? Down payment assistance. Most people don't know that there are so many down payment assistance programs. There's like 39 programs right here in Contra Costa, and almost nobody knows about them. So we're going to go over the different types of down payment assistance programs. And when you get with us one-to-one, we're going to show you exactly which program might be best for you. Okay. How much do realtors and mortgage brokers charge? And that's a big question. People don't want to pay a consultant a lot of times. And we're going to go over that is how much we charge and who pays for that stuff. Okay. How do I know how much I could afford? That falls back on the pre-approval. It takes 10, 15 minutes to find out what you could afford. The main thing is getting affordable monthly payments for you. Okay. So that's our main goal, is to make sure that the monthly payments fit your budget. We're going to go over loan processing and escrow process. That's the process. Usually once you find a house and you make a contract, there's usually 14 to 30 days it takes to do the whole process. And we're going to go over that today. Broker or banker, what is the difference? How are they different? And what's better? It's going to be different for everybody, but I'm partial to mortgage brokers. I'll show you what the difference is there between brokers and bankers. Mainly, how do you get all of your closing costs paid for? There's a lot of different ways to do it, but we basically have a guarantee that we could show you that when you work together with us, we're going to show you how you can get all your closing costs paid for. Okay, and I'm going to show you that a little bit later. Most common home buyer questions. Let's dive into it. Should I rent or buy? Owning is definitely not for everybody, but when you rent versus when you rent, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. Every month that you pay rent, that money just kind of floats away. It goes into your landlord's pocket. They're gaining equity and all the benefits of owning the real estate. When you own, you have control over what you could do with your home. You could paint, you could fix things up. You could do whatever the heck you want with it, right? So there's some freedom there to know that you could go ahead and control the property that you're living in. Missing out on equity and wealth building. It's no secret that most Americans, by the time they retire, most of their wealth is in real estate. And I'm not talking about investment properties. Most people's wealth, when they come to retirement age, is in the form of home equity that they've built up in the home that they've lived in over the years. And you can look it up in several different places. Stock market, business owners, and real estate, those are the three top ways that people gain wealth in this country. What I like about real estate, and it's different than all the other ways, is that you could finance 95 to 100% of your home purchase in a lot of cases. And you, even though you finance the buy-in, you gain all the equity yourself. So unlike when you invest in the stock market, you have to come up with that money to invest in the stock market to get that equity growth. In real estate, you could finance your way in and you can still benefit from all the equity growth over time. It's a great thing, and most people don't think about that. We're going to give you a rent versus buying calculator and see how the numbers look directly for you. Everybody is different, but we can check that out and see what makes more sense, whether renting might make more sense for you. Again, more millionaires are created through homeownership than any other method. I challenge you to go ahead and do that research on your own and see what you come up with on that. That's why everybody that can own a home should own a home, in my opinion. Okay. Where do I start and where not to get started? So the first thing you want to do is get your financial ducks in a row. You want to know about your debt, your credit, and your income. And you're going to need somebody like me to go ahead and analyze it for you and show you where you can make improvements and what you're able to do. We're not here to show you what to do, but we're here to show you what you can do. Okay. So first thing you want to do is get those ducks in a row. We can help you do it. It really does not take that much time and effort. Where not to start. I highly recommend you don't start with the big websites. You know, the first websites that come up on Google, is Zillow and Realtor.com. These websites, they're not necessarily real estate companies. They're lead generation companies. A lot of people go here, they'll put in their info, they get excited about a house, and then Zillow and Realtor will go ahead and sell your info to a bunch of different agents. You start to get a bunch of phone calls, and it can be very, very frustrating because you're getting phone calls from people that you don't know. Definitely don't start there. What you should do is if you don't want to ask me, ask somebody else. Ask somebody that you trust, get a referral, find somebody that you know, like, and trust that could answer your questions for you, but do not start with the big real estate search engines. Get pre-approved first. It takes 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to show you how to do that. get a good eye. When you get pre-approved, you'll know how much house is affordable for you. We'll look at your down payment situation. We'll look at down payment assistance, and we'll look at your affordable monthly payments. And when we go ahead and do that, we can work backwards to find out what type of house is going to be most affordable for you and fit your living situation. Debt planning. If you do have a lot of debt, don't be afraid. We have a plan for you where we can show you how to snowball your debt, get rid of your debt as fast as possible, pay the least amount of interest, and get yourself in a position to buy a house. So if today's not the day for you, we would be happy to put a plan together for you to get you to where you're at that point where you could go ahead and get qualified and own your own place. What is the home buying process? This is kind of a big one. What happens? Well, first thing we do, we talked about it a couple times, is the pre-approval. This is where we look at your financial situation. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes over the phone. We're going to look at everything that's going on with you, your employment, your income, your lack of income, whatever it is, your credit situation, and we're going to show you what you're able to do. There's so many different programs, and that's going to be the very first step to find out if you can afford a place and if you can afford the place that you like, okay? Searching for homes. Once you're pre-approved, we're going to set you up with laser targeted houses that fit your criteria in the cities that you want. Again, we work in Pleasant Hill, Concord, Walnut Creek, Lafayette, Clayton, all throughout Contra Costa County is where we like to work. And we're going to laser target properties that match your specific payment goals, okay? Once we go ahead and find a property and we write an offer on that property, we're going to go ahead and open escrow. We're going to submit your loan and you're going to inspect the property. Just because you have a contract on a home doesn't mean you're stuck there. You're going to have a chance to inspect the home, make sure that it's what you want. You're going to make sure that it appraises, and you're going to be able to do all these investigations to make sure that the home is in the condition that you want it to be in, to make sure that it's right for you. You can back out for inspections, but we want to make sure that you're comfortable in the home that you're buying. So that's definitely part of the process. Then we're going to do an appraisal. The appraisal's there to make sure that the home's worth what you're paying for it. And obviously, when you are getting a home loan, the lender will only lend based upon the appraised value. They don't want to lend based on something that's much, much lower. So we're going to do an appraisal. We're going to get your loan into underwriting. Once your loan's approved, we're going to remove all of our contingencies. Once we're satisfied with inspections, we got our loan approval, and the appraisal's clear, we're going to remove our contingencies. And what contingencies are? They're kind of like fail safes in the contract. So you could get out of the contract when you have these contingencies in place. Once you're done with your investigations, you're going to remove those contingencies, and then you're going to sign loan documents. Your loan's going to fund, and from there, you're going to bring your down payment in, and title's going to record the deed. Congratulations, you own the house, okay? So all this happens usually within 14 to 30 days in a normal escrow timeframe. And this is really just kind of scraping the surface. There's a little bit more to it, but that's something that we could address on a personal basis, one-to-one, whenever you're ready to go ahead and call or text. How much do realtors and mortgage brokers charge? This is a big one. A lot of people never reach out to a real estate agent or a mortgage broker because they're afraid that they're going to have to pay them some kind of huge commission, okay? And the reality is that commissions are 100% negotiable, okay? And in most cases, you as the home buyer will not have to pay any commission to your real estate agent or to your mortgage broker, okay? And that's in most cases. There are some cases where it may be different, but that's going to get disclosed to you upfront when that scenario arises. But in just about every single transaction that I've worked throughout my career, the home buyer doesn't pay for the mortgage broker and the home buyer does not pay a commission to the real estate agent. It gets paid elsewhere. Typically on the lending side, the lender that we work with will pay a commission to the mortgage broker. And on the real estate side, in almost every single case that we've worked with, the home seller is going to go ahead and pay for the buyer's agent commission through the proceeds of the sale. Okay. So that, again, that doesn't happen in every case. It is negotiable and it's different. But in almost every case that we've worked, that's what we've seen. What are closing costs? Closing costs in general are going to be about 1.5% to 2% of the purchase price. So that could be a lot of money, right? On a $1 million home, that's like $10,000 in closing costs. Well, we're going to show you exactly what all those closing costs are. We could break them down line by line. We're going to do that on a one-on-one basis because it's a little bit too much just for this video and it is a more personalized issue. But when you get with us, just ask us and we could go ahead and show you exactly what all the closing costs are, who they go to, and why. And you'll have more confidence as to what the process is. And again, like I said before, we're going to show you a way that you could go ahead and get all your closing costs paid for in just about every case when you work with us, okay? How do I know how much I can afford? Okay, the main thing that lenders look at is your debt to income ratio, okay? This is your monthly outgoing debts divided by your monthly gross income before taxes. What we want to see is a ratio under 45% typically. There are some exceptions, but typically what lenders want to see is that about 45% of your monthly gross income is going towards other debts and your new mortgage payment that you're getting qualified for. So I can help you calculate that. It takes 10, 15 minutes over the phone, and I'll let you know if it's something that's attainable or not. We could use W-2s. We could use pay stubs. We could do bank statement loans if you don't have a W-2. We could look at your tax returns. If you're a business owner and you don't have a good tax return, we could look at your bank statements. In some cases, if you don't have a job at all, but you have a lot of assets, we could use those assets to go ahead and qualify you. Okay. How much cash do I need to buy? There's a common misconception that you need 20%. The problem is almost nobody saves up 20%. A lot of people, while they're saving the 20%, the home prices keep going up faster than they can save. So I recommend that you get in as soon as it's possible and as soon as you could have an affordable monthly payment. Now, in a lot of cases, you could do 3.5% down payment. In some cases, you could do zero down payment. There's down payment assistance that could cover your down payment in a lot of cases. Gift funds are okay. If you have a family member that wants to gift you money, you could use that. Also, if you're having trouble qualifying with your own job, you could also have a parent or a family member co-sign for you, and they could help you qualify for the loan. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. Down payment assistance is available for many, many borrowers. Each one has pros and cons. There's three main types of down payment assistance, okay? My favorite is forgivable grants. How these grants work is once you qualify, you're going to get a certain amount of money for your down payment. I've seen people get $30,000 to $40,000 in forgivable grants. After you make a certain amount of monthly payments on your mortgage, the grant is forgiven 100%. It's almost like free money. It's the closest thing to free money that I can think about. But there's a few different grant programs that I could show you that are pretty easy to qualify for. They're a lot easier to qualify for than a lot of people think. Okay. The second type of down payment assistance is second mortgages. There's a lot of institutions that will give you a second mortgage and use that as your down payment. A lot of these second mortgages you don't have to make payments on, but they'll usually want it paid back when you sell the house or on some other terms. Okay. There's a lot of those programs. But the problem with the second mortgage loans is that when there's a second mortgage on your property, down the line, if you get a chance to refinance and lower your rate, sometimes it can be problematic to have a second mortgage on your property. That's why I love the forgivable grants because they go away completely. The third type of down payment assistance is equity sharing. There are some programs here in California where you can get up to $150,000 or so towards a down payment. And what's going to happen is you don't have to pay it back, but when you sell the home, you're going to have to pay it back when you sell the home. And they're also going to take some of your equity. So what if you sell the home for much more than what you bought it for, they're going to take some of your equity. I don't personally like equity sharing loans. I think the forgivable grants are the best way to go, and I would love to show you how those work on a one-on-one anytime that you want to, okay? Broker or banker, what is the difference, okay? Remember, when you go into your corner bank or your big bank that everybody's familiar with, people feel really comfortable with that because they think that it's so solid, right? The problem is that the person that you're talking to works for the bank. They do not work for you. There's often going to be fewer options. They're going to have to fit you into this small bank box. They have way more overhead. And the person that you're working with has an allegiance to the bank. They want to keep their job and they work for the bank. They do not work for you as the customer, okay? Almost every case, you're going to get much slower service working with a big bank. Okay. And that's been tested time and time again. With a local seasoned mortgage broker, you're going to want somebody that's been around the block. I've been doing this since 2003. I've been helping people. We've helped over 500 families in my career go ahead and purchase homes for their very first time. What we do as a mortgage broker is we have banks that compete for our business. We work with over 40 different lenders and they compete for our business. And what that does is it works. The mortgage broker is going to work for you, the client. At the end of the day, the client is the boss. I ultimately want to be your partner, but the client, you get to decide, right? So as a broker, we want to get your business in the form of offering you the absolute best service and the best pricing on the deals. And how that works is a lot of mortgage brokers have much lower overhead. And we pass that savings on to the borrower through wholesale rates because we don't have the big overhead of the big banks. So I would challenge you. I always recommend that you would shop a mortgage out before you decide. But in almost every case that I'm told where somebody goes and shops our rates compared to a big bank, we almost always edge them out or come out pretty high on top when it comes to that stuff. So I hope you found that. We're just scraping the surface here. I hope you found it really educational and maybe you have some confidence and you're ready to take the next step. What I recommend that you do is take some action, okay? If I'm not the person that you want to ask your questions to, it is very important that you get your personalized plan together. Get a referral, talk to somebody that you know, like, and trust. Text us, schedule a one-to-one. You will get me. You won't get a call center. You won't get anybody else. This is my cell phone right here. So call or text my cell phone and say, hey, I watched your crash course. I would love to ask you some questions. We will get into it. We'll spend 10, 15 minutes together and we can decide together if this is something that's right for you. Also, down below, down below, I'm going to have you download my home buyer planning checklist, okay? We also have 88 mistakes to avoid when you're buying a house. And we also have our favorite 3 secrets to get the best deal possible. There are 3 specific things that we teach our buyers how to do on how to target specific properties that fit your criteria, how to know what a seller's motivation is in order to get the best deal on a house and make sure that you never overpay. So with that, please check us out on Yelp, check out our reviews, and then when you're ready to make a decision, call us, text us for a one-to-one so that we can look at your specific situation. Again, if I'm not the person to do it, have somebody else do it that you know, like, and trust. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. And also remember, when you work together with us, we're going to show you exactly how you can, we all but guarantee that we're going to go ahead and get you at least $10,000 towards your closing costs in many cases. We either pay for all the costs or it goes up to $10,000, whatever is less. And I'll show you exactly how that works when you go ahead and get in touch with us one-to-one. So with that, go ahead and have a great day. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something and that you have some confidence, like I said. So talk to you soon.